Right.
And why is that top going to go down well?
Just because it's a bit different, isn't it? No one's seen me wear it.
It's the older one, isn't it?
Old, yeah.
Is it an older one?
Yeah.
An older FootJoy one.
Yeah.
It's nice though, got the logo on it.
Got the logo, look.
Yeah.
Bit of red.
Bit of red. Uncommon to see you on the Sunday morning show with a hat.
Hair's not looking particularly good at the moment. I need to make a little trip to the hairdresser or do it myself. Maybe thin out the top a little bit. Get a bit wavy on the top. I know that's the style nowadays, but not the way I'm having it. I'm combing it, but it's just waving. It's like that, waving.
Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to another Sunday morning show. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for asking. It's nice that you care.
I always care. I'm a caring person.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Is it?
Caring is sharing.
Unless you've got a cold and I don't want you sharing anything.
You don't want to work here. So, well, what an exciting week we have coming up. Oh. Ryder Cup week, Bernie.
Ryder starts Monday, Ryder Cup week, doesn't it?
Well, it starts, so we have, obviously, as you know, Ryder Cup is coming this week. It starts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we are basically the lead up. We're the warm-up group for the Ryder Cup.
Unofficial warm-up group, because we haven't actually been given that title, have we?
No, but I've made it official. And I'm sure the audience will agree with us that we have the Ryder Cup special coming up this week.
France. Or not.
So,
go on then, tell us what happened.
A bit of a disaster. Travelling is not as easy as it used to be.
Some might say it's a disaster, but others might see it as a positive.
I would say it's been a disaster, but a positive in the same way.
Because we did a brilliant vlog.
Because the vlog is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I don't even know what to say at this stage as to whether to give anything away or anything like that. But what I will say is that we didn't make it to France. We didn't make it to Golf National in Paris, France, because I dropped the ball a little bit.
I wouldn't have said it was necessarily completely your fault. It was just numerous factors, wasn't there? It's because obviously there's the regulations and rules change so frequently. Yeah. With the government putting in place, it's hard to follow what needs to be done to be able to go aboard.
So what happened was, I looked up on the government's website, I looked up travelling from England to France, okay? And what it said to me is that I had to produce a certificate to show that I'd been double jabbed and therefore I could travel to France. But you had to have that certificate, and you go onto the government, the NHS app or website, and you can you log in and you download your certificate that shows you've been double jabbed and what you've been jabbed with. Yeah. Fine. So I felt I had covered everything. And then during that time, I was still trying to find people to come and play, because there's a lot of people out there, certainly, who have either had coronavirus and not been able to get double jabbed, or haven't quite got over to that position to be finalised with their jab, like James Urquhart hasn't been double jabbed because he's just not there yet. Will Farley had coronavirus, so he couldn't get double jabbed. Anyway, so I was racking around trying to find people to play. So that was my problem. And then the day of when we're leaving, so last Sunday evening, I get a text from Brittany Ferries to say, don't forget, these are your checkpoints that you need to get on board and then to come home and this and the other. And the part that I missed was I was focusing so hard on going to France that I forgot about coming home. And what you needed to come home back to the UK is obviously proof that you're double jabbed, but you needed to have a PCR test of a negative, of which we didn't have. None of us had one. No. And it's Sunday afternoon. We ran down to the NHS area to get it done. Weren't going to get it done. Wouldn't get it done in time. Wouldn't have got the results done in time. And I didn't want to risk us going over there, waiting for results to come back that might not have come back in time for us to come home. So we didn't go. We pulled the plug on it last minute. Literally an hour before the ferry went. Pulled the plug. Nightmare. Which was a shame, because Golf National we're so looking forward to us coming out there to do it, and it would have worked so well because obviously it's 2018 Ryder Cup venue and a beautiful course.
So we sort of tried to get another venue, didn't we? Which we had trouble with as well, didn't we?
So we got ourselves booked in for another venue, very last minute, scrapped around trying to get something sorted out. We got into Carline Bay down in Cornwall, which is a beautiful golf course just down in St Austell area. Got the hotel and everything, and we will go back and do it again because I really want to do it. But due to last minute bookings and things like that, we decided to pull the plug on that because it was going to be very tight.
We were going to be in the middle of everybody, and we just didn't want to upset people that are staying in the hotel.
So we decided to pull the plug. However, very last minute, we got it done.
We did.
And I will not give anything away.
No.
Because there's a bit of a storyline to it.
The good thing is the place we went to has got a strong connection with the Ryder Cup, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and
it really does. Of which people won't know.
No,
which is great.
Yeah, which is even better. Plus, and I just think the vlog was one of the funniest ones and one of the best ones that I've been involved with personally. So
that vlog, Ryder Cup, USA versus Europe, will be going live tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We have 3 parts for you. We have a 4-ball, a foursomes and a singles, parts 1, 2 and 3. In teams, and that will lead you up nicely. Just a warm up for you. You know, get the juices flowing for the real Ryder Cup.
I'm just a little bit concerned though, Dan, I must admit.
What are you concerned about then?
Concerned that we might have overshadowed the actual Ryder Cup. And it might be a major disappointment after you watch our Ryder Cup.
Well, I'll tell you what, the golf certainly does in part 1, for sure it will. Like, I don't even know if those guys... No. I don't even think the real Ryder Cup boys would have beaten these people. I think those people would have been 4 up through 4 in the Ryder Cup. I think you're probably right. Well, they'd certainly be at least 3 up. At least 3 up. So, so it's a really exciting vlog. It's really, really cool. There's something that happens on part 1 which doesn't happen very often in the game of golf. So anyway, you will love it. Leading up to it, you will love it. Yeah. I have moving on, I have a question that's come in from the comments section that I wanted to just have a little chat about today, if we could. A nice Sunday morning, coffee in hand. I'm done though. Chit chat. Are you finished already? Yeah, done. Okay. Right. Question. Fire away. From Ross Gillibrand. Okay. Hello, Ross, and thank you very much for commenting. And I did say to you that I would be discussing this, or Lester and I would be discussing this in the Sunday morning show. Yep. So Ross wants to know. He said, "I'd love to know your guys' opinion on this one. Right. On average, who is better at golf, a PGA Pro or a Scratch Plus handicap golfer?" I would lean. He said he would lean more towards the Scratch Plus golfer, as they're constantly maintaining their handicap, but would love to know people's thoughts. So I know he's put that, and I've responded back to say that we would discuss this on the Sunday morning show. But people's thoughts, well, it's going to be yours and my thoughts on it. So do you want to know where I'm at? Do you know where I'm at? Yeah, I'd like to know where you're at. I would say if you grabbed 100 random PGA pros and you grabbed 100 scratch or better amateur golfers, so you had it on a bigger scale, I would say the amateur golfers would win against the PGA pros, but 10% of the PGA pros have been former tour players or are still very good players, and they would be better than the leading amateurs. Is that 10% stat a real stat, or is that just... No, that's just what I'd say. I would say, in my opinion, overall, if you're going on a bigger scale, the scratch and plus handicappers, who generally will be younger lads, but looking to turn professional and play, will be better than your average club pro, because you can turn pro. In our day, you could turn pro a 4.4. Now I think it's 6 something. So obviously a 6 handicapper is going to be nowhere near a scratch golfer. But if you just use our region as an example, and lads who are PGA qualified, we'll just look at our channel, for example. You've got Paul, Wilbur, Jimbo, the PGA James. Pros, James Urquhart, James Ruth, myself. I can't think of any others that have played on there. But no, so I think if you pick, say, for example, if you pick the best 10 Devon pros, let's say, and played the 10 best
Devon amateurs, I would fancy the Devon pros to win.
Yeah.
But if you were then picking a second or third team,
Yeah.
I would say that the Devon amateurs would win.
Okay.
I think the depth is more in the amateur game against the pros.
I think you've nailed that, because we did a little friendly match some time ago. We did Devon pros, but you had to have played for the county. Okay. So you had to have you had to be a former county player as an amateur. Yeah. And now you're a pro. Yeah. To be able to make the pros team. Okay. Yeah. And we took 10 players. And then we played against the county team at the time, and this was a few years ago now. But it was we were all, obviously it was a good match. Yeah. Devon pros won. Yeah. So Devon pros beat the county team. Yeah. And I think it was by a little bit of a margin, actually, by the end of it all, at the end of that result. And you're absolutely right. I think if you take the pool of a small amount of pros, they are that still compete to a point. Yeah. And still play a bit, the chances are those guys are going to win. Yeah. However, in the bigger picture, as in the whole pool of it, the scratch plus golfers are going to win. Yeah. Because, and there is a big reason for this, and that is because when you turn pro, you go from someone who is practicing and playing quite regularly on a certainly competitive golf. And if you think about my amateur days, every time I played golf, I was pretty much playing in something. Yeah. So it was a Saturday competition or a county match or a county championship or whatever it was. You were always competing. So you were always on the edge of always putting cards in, always maintaining a handicap, which is what kind of Ross has said there. Whereas when you turn pro, it's a completely different ball game because it becomes your life.
I almost stopped playing golf. Yeah, I was a county player. I wouldn't say I was particularly brilliant amateur. I mean, I won a couple of things on the Salve and the Devon Youth Championship. Yeah. But I wouldn't have put myself... I only got in the first team when likes of James, Kev Harper were away playing in England stuff. Then I would get called up. I was mainly a second team player. Yeah. But I was practicing every single day. Yeah. And when I turned pro, I was into retail and teaching, so my playing and practicing was limited. Yeah. So I was a better player as an amateur than I was ever as a professional. Yeah.
So when I turned pro, I wanted to play. I wanted to play as much as I could. So I went off and played. Certainly the first couple of years, I went and played on the region, and I realised on the region that there are some serious golfers. Like Paul is. Don't get me wrong, Paul is up there as one of the top players. Yeah. And, but there's a lot of Pauls. Oh, there's a lot of pool golfers.
You've only got to look at the Euro Pro Tour. When I caddied for Will, I've been and seen Euro Pro 10, 15 years ago, and no disrespect to the guys that were playing and competing then. Yeah. The standard now, all 150 people that teeing it up can win on that tour, and they're all brilliant golfers. Yeah. And I was shocked because Will played with two really good golfers who I caddied for. All three of them missed the cut, and they're all brilliant golfers. Yeah. And we watched the final round. Me and Will walked around to watch Harry, who made the cut, who was staying with us, and watch some of the leaders. And the standard is phenomenal. Yeah.
What I would say, is if you took those PGA pros, the bigger pool, let's say, and you said to those 100 pros, you said, right, there's going to be a match in a year's time or 6 months' time. Yeah. It's going to be a match, and it's going to be 100 scratch golfers or plus golfers against 100 pros. Picked at random. And you said to them, right, go and work on your game. You've got 6 months to sort that out and get back on track to where you would be, and then we'll have a match. And I think if you did it like that, you'd probably find that those guys that have already been decent golfers at some stage in their amateur game and then turned pro and then made it a career, made it their job, they would lift their game back to that position of it will 100%. Still be there for them. Yeah. So I think that you take it from that position, you would find that margin would come down a lot closer.
Totally agree.
But those 10 players from each side, 10 best from each side, it doesn't matter what you do. No. That out of 10 matches, the pros are going to come out on top probably 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, 100% agree. Good question though, and it's subjective, isn't it? It could probably even vary from county to county. Yeah. If you went to maybe Yorkshire, there might be some better... I'm not saying that we're not got good PGA pros, but there might be.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
Certainly the amateur teams, don't they? They jump around like this. So there's some good teams and they drop off a little bit. And
it depends on year by year, doesn't it? Or generation by generation.
It's a great question. I think a lot of PGA pros, certainly I would say when I grew up, I remember playing in a pro-am when I was about 15, and I remember looking up to these PGA pros like, wow, these guys are so good, like fantastic to watch, just playing in a local pro-am. And they are good golfers. And I think that PGA pros, and certainly in the last 20 years, I would suggest, have certainly been pushed down a bit, as in like lost a bit of respect because of the fact that they don't compete or play as much as what there is, because there's not as much to play in for them.
So do you think so if you picked, say, the GB&I Walker Cups team against the PGA Cup team, that's probably another question, isn't it? Yeah. Who would win that?
I think the PGA Cup team would win.
Do you?
I mean, honestly, Bernie, when I went to when I caddied for Paul in the PGA Cup, it was jaw-dropping stuff. These PGA Cup players are so good. Like they are, you got to think there was.
Because the Americans had ex-winners on tour, didn't they? In their team and stuff.
Between the 10 players that were on their team, they'd played in 15 majors.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
So you had Paul played against him one day. Was a chap called Uresti. Omar Uresti.
I remember him, yeah.
Omar Uresti was on the PGA Tour when Tiger Woods got his hole-in-one at the Waste Management event.
Yeah.
And all the beer cans started coming out and things like that. Omar was the pro playing with him.
Was he?
Who gave him the high five on the tee.
Right, okay.
And his brother was caddying for him, who was playing in the PGA Cup. And so you've got some serious amount of... And you look at both sides of the US and the GB&I team then... The experience was huge.
Yeah.
Paul was PGA champion that year, and he struggled. He played really well, but you're playing against guys that are playing foursomes on a tough golf course, and they're 7 under through 9.
You'll probably, if you took the actual appearances on the European Tour of the players, then probably I would suggest the GB&I team probably have got 20 appearances maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas they're probably looking at the American team having...
loads.
A couple hundred.
Yeah, loads.
Maybe more.
Because they're set up to allow their PGA pros to go and play in these big events. The PGA of America still owns the PGA Championship.
Well, look at the US, when they have the US Open. There's so many club pros playing.
I think there's about 10 or 15 club pros in it.
So whereas the
America.
Open Championship is... there's
none.
You have to qualify, do you?
Normal qualifying,
yeah.
So, again, I think it goes down to, if you take the 10 best amateurs in Devon compared to the 10 best amateurs 10 best pros in Devon, there's going to be a similar result to the Walker Cup, probably against the PGA Cup. Again, you'd have to put them head to head to see what happens, but I think from experience and all of that sort of thing...
I would totally agree with what you've said and what we've said, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would stand by that, and if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would definitely, if it's the top ones, I would definitely bet.
But there'll be pros at your golf clubs out there that have been really good players in their own right and don't play as much because it's their job. Because the reality of it is, if you think about us now, I've got a young family, I've got a business, a shop.
Me?
Every time I've got you, I've got when I play golf, and I'm not filming it, I feel like it's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like when the guys go and play who don't play in the Devon PGA or the Devon and Cornwall PGA now, they look at it and go, okay, I could coach all day or go and play in a tournament that I might win 150
Well, that's how, it's not the right attitude to have, but that's what I had towards the end of my PGA, I don't want to say adventure career. Yeah. I could do 10 lessons at 20 quid a lesson at that time, earn 200 quid easily on a day, whereas the first prize was less than 100 quid. Yeah. And I wasn't realistically going to win the first prize. I was looking at trying to get last check. A lot of the time you wouldn't. You have to pay an entry, you've got to travel, you've got your costs. You can end up, not just winning nothing and going, it's a 0 day. It's not, it's a negative day because it might have cost me 50 quid.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Time I've entered and driven there, whereas I could make 200 quid. So that's a 250 quid...
So I think we've rattled on quite nicely about that one. Yeah, I think that's it's a great topic of conversation.
I've got another question for you.
Go on.
What would your picks have been?
Ryder Cup.
Yeah, Ryder Cup picks, because sort of subject we're going to be addressing next week. We'll be telling you who wins and stuff. But who would you have gone with Padre, or would you have changed?
Would I have gone
bit?
for Poulter and Sergio? I think Poulter and Sergio were the two that people were maybe questioning.
Yeah.
Because Shane Lowry got a pick, didn't he? I thought he would have just automatically got in.
He was unlucky not to qualify, wasn't he? He was right on the cusp. But normally they do pick the guy closest to qualifying. It's almost an unwritten rule. So I guess you could almost put him in as a, as that. I mean, I would have thought Harrington, no disrespect to players in the team, but he would have wanted Lowry in his team, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I get that. I fully get that. I understand that.
I just think,
and rightly so. He's playing good golf. He will raise. I'm sure he'll raise his game for it. You can't argue with any of the people that they put in. They've all got experience. As in, like Sergio. If you think about Sergio and you think about Pulse, you think about what they've done in historically. Fantastic. To leave Justin Rose
that's
out.
my biggest one, because you almost need 4 picks. So the Americans had more picks, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah, I think
four,
they had 4. No, they had more than that, didn't they? They had more World Cup. 4 or 5 or 6 World Cup.
It was always traditionally it was 2 picks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would like to have seen Justin Rose in it. I just think he's got the experience as well. And I know so has Poulter, so has Garcia, but I don't know. I was just a bit disappointed he didn't make it.
To be honest with you,
his form's not been good, has it? I guess.
To be fair, Bernie, I look through the whole of the team of all the players, and all of them fill me with confidence.
Yeah.
Even down to the 3 picks that he's done there at the end there. They all 3 of them give me absolute confidence.
But also, don't you think as well, the Americans seem to be there's a bit of unrest in the camp. I know we've mentioned it before, but you had Brooks coming out this week saying that he doesn't enjoy the way that you have to all be together, didn't he? He's like a bit of a loner, I guess. And he likes to go off and do his own thing, go to the gym, and he's so regulated, and you have to stay in that sort of bubble as such.
I think you're right. I think sometimes it's a bit like, when you go and play for your county and times gone by like that. There's ways in which they do things
routine,
which is out of your routine.
Yeah.
100%. So getting involved in a team game like that. Golf, the problem with golf is it's such an individual game that a lot of these pros, they spend a lot of time on their own or with their own little team that they then don't really interact.
Do you think it's almost like the best individual players against the best team? It's like as such, we are such a team. Whether that's big enough to beat them there individually.
I think that has happened over the years.
Yeah.
Over the years of why we've won as well as we have against some amazingly strong players in America.
Yeah.
We've beat them because we've got such a great team, and the players will tell you that.
So I'm still confident people are writing us off a little bit. I'm still confident we can win this.
They cannot write that. That team looks so strong. And it actually even concerns me slightly more that when you get a really strong European team, that maybe that doesn't work.
No.
That actually you want that team spirit, but I think it's got you've got a bit of both.
You almost don't want the list of superstars. You want them to be collected as a team, don't you?
Well, you see that with big teams in football, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do.
The teams that do really, really well and don't necessarily want to play for their country.
You've got to look at Paris Saint-Germain. They've just signed a load of superstars.
Yeah. Does that make them a better team?
It didn't. They lost last week in the European Champions League. Right. So you've got to blend. You need certain people to do certain jobs, don't you? You need to blend together, and it's.
Well, we will find out, won't we? We'll find out next week. Yeah. I've got a bit of a shout out.
Yeah.
I've had a birthday. I want to do a quick birthday shout out. So it's actually been Leicester's birthday this week. So I just want to take this opportunity, and I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing you a very happy birthday. How was your birthday? Was it all right?
Yeah. Can I just thank everybody for their cards, presents, the money they've sent to me? It's been very touching.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
For those that haven't bothered, then as far as I'm concerned, don't want to know you anymore.
Bothered.
It's a big occasion.
So,
my 30th birthday.
I was going to say, what have you got into your 30s now? Are we?
Yeah. 41 out of that.
41. Just flicks by, doesn't
scary, isn't it?
Scary.
Don't actually though, do I?
Another month and I'll be shaking 40, won't I?
God, hey.
Another
How
month,
are you younger than me?
I think that's it for this week. Have you got anything else that you want to bring to the table? Because I think, you know, we've gone, I do want to say was how well Scotty Pym went down at Dartmouth. And I hope you all enjoyed watching Scotty at Dartmouth. He's a great character. We knew he would do well on the channel.
I've known Scotty since he was sort of 8, 9. He turned up at Torquay for lessons, and he was always in the groups that I used to teach. And he's become one of my best mates. He is exactly how he came on camera. He's like
that's
that.
exactly what it is.
He's got the same sense of humour as we've got. He's quite dry, isn't he? And
very funny.
A very good golfer as well.
And a properly good golfer. You know, that shot he hit out of the bunker.
What was he doing?
Did you goad him into doing that?
No, I was like,
he just did it.
He said, "Watch this," and I was like, "What are you doing? It's never coming out."
Yeah, quality golfer. So we will get Scott back on at some stage. We'll get him onto the channel and get him out onto the golf course again. I'm sure we will. He really enjoyed it and he wants to be a part of it as well. So yeah, we've got, as people have said in the comments, you know, we've got a good group of people.
New character this week as well on there.
New character coming on this week who will be on the channel a little bit more again moving forward. But we've got just a great little pool of people, and we know
we're lucky, aren't we?
We're lucky because we know lots of good people who are good golfers at the same time, and they want to be part of it and get involved. So we are lucky. We are very lucky. So I hope you enjoyed Dartmouth. It's a fantastic golf course.
So is there anybody you want to see that we've had on previously on the channel? Yeah. If you do, comment below, because it's always good to see who you're missing, who you want to see, etc.
And that's it. I don't think there's anything
You're stuck
else.
with us though, because it's...
Oh yeah, you are stuck with us.
It's your channel to start with. It's Dan Hendriksen Golf, and
you keep turning up.
And I'm a shareholder, so...
Right, everybody, have a fantastic Ryder Cup week. We certainly are going to enjoy this week with the Ryder Cup. Enjoy the pre-Ryder Cup, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. I've been enjoying watching the edits of it as well. So we'll see everybody next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.